meteorologist Chase Jones.
Okay, did that say weather? I'm not quite sure because everybody keeps talking about sports and my coat doesn't even want to do weather right now. So we're just going to get through this and hopefully the rest of the jacket stays on. Now, a beautiful sunset as that cloud cover clears out. But I tell you, we have our eye on Ram Jam. So maybe we should keep talking about sports, at least some of that rain that's going to make its way back in by the weekend. Now, temperatures leveling out in those 70s all the way down into those upper 60s. Then a good run all the way up into those lower 90s. Depending on what side of town you were on, too, you saw some pretty heavy rain, about 1.5 inches. Now, we're going to drop all the way back down into those lower 60s before we make a good run at those mid 90s, but we're on the front side of a heat wave, and then by the weekend back down into those 80s with the returning rain. Now 77 in San Angelo, everybody else in a combination of mid to lower 70s. We're down about 10 degrees, if not 20 from earlier today. Everybody's sort of leveling out in those upper 80s. 81 in Robert Lee, 78 down there in Junction, 76 in Mason. So we have about 5 degrees across the Concho Valley for a beautiful evening, but it's the end of the long weekend. I hope you guys had a good one. I definitely slept a lot, but I still feel pretty tired out there, but I'm ready for this week because it is hunting season. Now, dew points in the 50s and those 60s, while humidity indices have pushed all the way up into those 60s, so we're up about 30%, but not a drop of rain in sight. Now, moisture tracker is going to show you how a lot of this concentrations of blue and yellow are finally on their way out with stronger cold fronts, but was looking at some meteorological data and a couple of journalism, or at least some articles about it. The upper level pattern is sort of unseasonably rearranged, I guess is the right word. Now, cold weather is going to make its way down. Now, that's a pretty early start to fall, but it's right on schedule. We're going to see a little bit of a heat wave. Now, that'll push us up back into those triple digits for the sort of first week of fall, but by the weekend, more cold weather is going to make its way in. Now, we see deep low pressure across the northern part of the nation. What does that mean? Well, rain is definitely on its way. Water vapor imagery is showing us what's left of a tropical circulation sort of reaching the same equilibrium point as a cutoff low off the west coast. We're going to see how much cold weather and wet weather that pushes around the Rocky Mountains and makes its way down to a large stationary boundary front that's been hanging out around the southern part of the United States for about half the year. Now, severe weather outlook has broken up earlier today. What am I trying to say? Even the code is giving up on me. It was across the entire nation. It's spotty for now as we see some of that dry air making its way in. Now, you see some of those heat warnings off the west coast. That's the heat wave we're looking out for by the end of the week to push us up into those triple digits. For now, we're keeping our eye on those northerly winds and the cooler air sinking in from the north. Again, we're going to be down into those 60s tonight. Now, we're keeping our eye on the light cloud cover that is showing up, but it's shaping up for a beautiful short week. So definitely capitalize on that beautiful weather. But you know how busy it gets in the morning. So let's take our time because there is a lot of teenagers out there driving around. But by the weekend, things will clear up for a beautiful Ram Jam. So hopefully I see you guys out there. Come by, say hi, take a photo, get some free food. It's going to be a beautiful week. So tonight, we're going to drop all the way back down into, will my computer cooperate too, into those lower 60s, keeping my eye on those northerly winds. Then tomorrow, a good run at those mid 90s, but we'll see if the Weather Center wants to cooperate with me as we get closer towards the end of that short week. And the first week of September, we're going to see those temperatures push all the way up into those triple digits, then drop all the way back down into those lower 80s, while we see those sunny days start to turn back into those rainy days, while those overnight lows go from those 60s up into those 70s, then right back down into those 60s. Stay tuned. I'm Bob the Rake. You're watching KSAN News at 10.